Everyone, hope you guys are having a lovely Monday. Just about to clock off here and head for that second workout of 75 hard. But before I do, I just wanted to come live and answer a question. People always asking me, how's the market going and what's happening in the current market and who's buying properties. So this live is all about answering that question. Who is buying properties at the moment? And at the moment, I'm seeing a lot of interest from the foreign market. A lot of South Africans that are looking to purchase that live abroad and looking to purchase investment properties in South Africa, obviously with the interest rate being so good at the moment. We've also seen a lot of interest from North America and Canada. I've actually got a client arriving from Canada on Wednesday, coming to view some luxury properties on the Atlantic seaboard, Camps Bay and Clifton. And then we've got other clients from the States as well. So we're seeing a lot of interest there. And those seem to be the people that are buying properties at the moment, or at least for myself, that's kind of who I'm dealing with. And we're also looking at, they're looking to purchase for investment, but they're also looking to purchase for themselves to live in as well. So I just wanted to answer a few questions, like what are these buyers actually looking for in a property when they're buying an investment property? Obviously, the first thing, the numbers need to be right. Return on investment needs to be there. So anywhere from 6 to 9% is probably a good return on investment. And you're probably only going to get that on the short-term rental market. Long-term, but they are willing to look at a long-term rental just because of the security of a long-term rental. And the maintenance costs that come, with a short-term rental. You can pay way more maintenance costs over the year if you have a very popular short-term rental that people are just coming to party and they'll break stuff and things like that. So they're not opposed to a long-term rental, but more short-term rental. Also, it gives them the flexibility if they want to come and use the property for a portion of the year. They can then block out those dates and use the property for, let's say, three months of the year, and then the rest of the year they can then let it out. Other things that they're looking for, and it's like most investors, people aren't just going to pay millions of rands for a property without doing their homework, especially savvy investors from abroad. It's all about, is the body, if it's a sectional title, is the body corporate very well run? If it's a full title property, what's the maintenance like on that property? So has it been kept in a good state? Has the current owner been maintaining that property properly? And if not, it's something they probably want to walk away from, because they don't want to be managing a renovation all the way from the States or Europe. It becomes a headache. So the maintenance of the property needs to be really good. They don't want to put any more money into that property. And then the body corporate needs to be run really well. They don't want outstanding rates and levies and things like that, and maybe special levies also coming up. So that's something to just keep in mind. Even when you're purchasing a property, if you're looking at the resale, what are buyers looking at? And then another very interesting thing to note is that the wealthy don't like to pay tax, and so they'll probably look to purchase a property that is registered in a company, and maybe a VAT registered company, because then obviously you can save money on your transfer. If they then form a company that is VAT registered, you can then obviously do a zero rated transfer where you don't pay any transfer taxes or transfer duty. So this is something that all these people are looking at. The first thing they ask when you show them an option. Sorry about the connection. The first thing they're kind of looking at when you show them an option is, the first question that comes up is it owned by a VAT registered company? Is there VAT or transfer? Because if you're buying a property of upward of 10 million, your transfer duty will be more than R1 million. So you're going to spend another R1 million in tax just to try it. I'm back. So if you're buying a property for a very high price tag, it's that people don't want to pay another R1 million, R2 million, R2.5 million in tax. So always, if you're thinking, sorry about the connection, guys. Sorry about the connection. Keeps coming and going. Camps Bay is not great for Wi-Fi, unfortunately. Don't sell my buyers. if you're buying a property, let me get back onto the point that I was making. If you are buying a property and you're looking down the line at when you're going to sell that property, and if it's for quite a high price tag, it might make more sense to buy that property in a company, in a VAT registered entity, because then you can obviously sell that property, and the person who's purchasing that property is not going to want to pay tax. Probably, the wealthy don't pay tax. Let's all agree on that. That's something they've gotten around and figured out is how the tax system works and how to not pay tax. And so obviously buying your property in a VAT registered company then helps with you not paying that tax. And when you're selling it, obviously the person purchasing it will not pay tax. When it comes to all the capital gains and everything, obviously that's another story. You might pay a bit more, but people have structures in place to get around that sort of thing. I hope this was a very informative session. Thanks, Yannick. I'm glad that you found it very informative. If anybody has any questions or anything that they'd like me to answer, or they want to know anything else, let me know, and I'd be glad to answer any questions. Go ahead. Okay, looks like we don't have any questions coming in. Thanks everybody who joined me on this live session. And if there's any other topic that you'd like me to talk about in the coming weeks, I'd obviously love to touch on that. And if anybody wants to join me for a discussion, I'd always be happy to chat. Any agents, can you please explain a VAT vendor seller again? So a VAT vendor seller, so you can own a so there's 3 types of ownership for property. You can own a property as a private person, so that's just in your own name. So if somebody owns a property in their own name as a private person, the person who's purchasing that property will pay transfer duties on that purchase. And obviously the transfer duties are exempt for the first 1.1 million. But obviously when you're purchasing a property in a place like Camps Bay, Clifton, Bantry Bay, the purchase price is probably going to be upward of 10 million. So, the transfer duty on that is going to be probably in excess of R1 million. You can then also own a property in a company. So that's what I'm talking about, a VAT registered company. So if you own a property in a VAT registered company and another VAT registered, well, first of all, when you advertise the price is inclusive of VAT. So there's no other tax involved. Yes, the other person who's purchasing will purchase the property and there will be VAT attached to it, but that VAT will be included in the price because it's illegal to advertise a property without including the VAT in the price. You can't say price excludes VAT. You have to include the VAT in the asking price. So if two VAT registered entities are entering into a transaction, so let's say one VAT registered purchaser, the purchaser is a VAT registered company and the seller is a VAT registered company, you can do something called a zero rated transfer, which means they won't even pay that.